Hello? Yes. Hey, Samantha. Good morning. Hey, everyone. Home today. So I don't have the usual setup, and and I forgot my camera, so I borrowed my dad's, which is pretty good. It gives me a little creepy, little creepy look. No, oh my god, I feel like I'm talking about something I shouldn't talk about. So yeah, today we're talking about cyber news, mythos, and any weird questions you have. All weird questions you have. I need to plug in my laptop first, and then we'll get started. Uh, Quit breaking things. What made you think that I was breaking things, Cyberpunk Reno? Holy moly. If I were coming on the stream and I would see this image, I'd be like, what the fuck is this creep talking about? And if I didn't know Mia, I'd be like, what the fuck is this creep talking about? With this lighting. So, thank you, King DeGraff, for following. Hey, Samantha. Hey, XR. Good to see you, folks. So today we're going to talk a bit about some cyber news. Not sure what you guys think about it. Is it XR in your experience? Have you heard a lot about people talking about mythos about AI recently in the past week, 2 weeks? Is this a topic across the ocean? I'd like to open VirtualBox. And I don't have a stand for my microphone, so I'm gonna have to move it all around, all throughout the day, all throughout the the stream, which kind of sucks. But like we say in Spanish, it is what we have. I've heard a few things about the Mythos model, but that's about it. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. We talk a lot about it in our field of cyber insurance because it might be something that just topples over the market where we have to pay a lot of claims. So this is something of claims is basically compensation for clients. So it would mean that we would have to pay a lot of money to our clients because there's going to be a lot of cyber attacks. So it could really be what we call a systemic event, which is where a lot of clients are affected all at once. And where do I want to go? I want to go into Stream Beats again. All right, we hear. Do you hear it? Let me see the volume. And XR, did you celebrate your victory yesterday with your family? All right. They were like, smile and nod, smile and nod. Like, well, nice, Dad. Well done. And they're like, they don't really understand what you did. And they're a little bit scared that you did something illegal. Oh, I just captured the flag. Yeah. Alright, let's talk a little bit about mythos. Alright, scene says nothing. Why is everything broken here? At least the microphone works. Overall chill. My can's gonna get tired. No, they know it's not illegal. My oldest has some of the over the wire himself. Ooh. Yeah, you've been teaching him about, was it obsidian the other day? You were teaching him about like a key. A VM2. A key tech. The other day. Was it Vim? Yes, it was not Vim, but it was something newer than that. He's 13, has his Debian, and has a Debian laptop. Nice. So cool. Alright, folks. How do I make sure? Oh my god. Yeah, NeoVim. That sounds. I think the term Neo was very popular in the 2010s a bit. You know, from the movie The Matrix. Like, you used to call everything Neo, but now I don't like. You know the Airbus 320 Neo. That was also a trend from the time. I feel like there was a time where everything was called Neo. Like in the 1980s, 1960s, there was a time, I don't know if you noticed as well, but there was a time where everything was called 2000. There used to be a trend to call everything 2000 because it was kind of cool to just mention the year 2000. So now, back then, I think right now it's very cool to say everything with Neo in it. Well, maybe it stopped a bit, Neo stuff. Alright, so we want to get... What did I want to get? I forgot. I definitely want to get something. Well, couldn't be that important. Alright, I want to get my phone. Oof. Where did I put it? It might be downstairs still. Wow. Neos from the year meaning new, yeah. Nails. How do you like the name? Everything from Greek sounds pretty cool. Greek is pretty nice. It's a pretty cool language. Folks, I'm gonna get my phone so I can watch stream on my watch the chat on my phone. Be right back. XR, have you ever been to Europe? Nope. Nice. Oh, Romans is here as well, streaming. Damn. Oh man, I wish I could watch it. Hack the Block with Cloud Opus. Nice, it's related to what we do. Awesome. Awesome. Stream manager. 2 people. Vamos, 2 viewers. Let's go. So welcome everyone. Welcome. Too broke for that, lol. Yeah, I get it. Going to Europe is expensive, especially nowadays with the cost of fuel. is getting more and more expensive. Are you hoping to go one day? Is this part of your bucket list that you'd like to do, or you're like, nah, this is not worth my money? All right, so let's talk a bit about the newest model. Let's look first at the release of it. Mythos release from Anthropic. I can hear myself here. There we go. El modo de la IA, Mythos está disponible. Insanely dangerous. Everyone's talking about how dangerous it is. Just kind of want to understand what's true in reality, folks. During the stream, what's reality? What are people too hype about? What does this all mean, really? This is our goal for today. Really understanding what's going on. What are the limits of this thing? You know, we can't really test it because it's obviously not available to the public. The people, the Claude people decided not to release it to the public. And we're also going to check what it means for our profession as cybersecurity people. All right, with Cyberpunk Reno, we're talking about going to Europe, and his answer is, one day maybe. I would like to go to Ireland and England, where my name and sake originates. It's Anglo-Saxon in origin. Oh, nice. Ireland sounds pretty cool. England, less. I'm not sure what you do in England. Maybe some pretty cool places. Yeah, I think maybe England is worth traveling to. It's just, for me, there's so many cooler places that are in Europe and that are cheaper to go to. Because yeah, if you go to the UK, you're going to pay a lot of money. There are places in Italy and stuff where things are still pretty cheap. So folks, if you joined the stream just now, we are today talking about a AI in general in a specific model called Mythos. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. It's a model that enables attackers and defenders to spot vulnerabilities and potentially exploit them from systems. And it's been pretty effective at finding vulnerabilities, which has got some people on the defensive side of it pretty scared. And some people on the offensive side may be pretty excited. So it's a new tool you can play with. It's not available to the public, so a lot of this is kind of just guessing. But I think it still holds a lot of character into what it means for a profession as cybersecurity folks. What is the future? How should this orient your decisions to go into cyber or not, or what to do when you get into cyber? So these are all thematics that we'll get to today. Hope you're excited. Nice. One day I would like to go to Ireland. Okay, you said it. Eat food that needs seasoning. If to go to the UK, yeah, UK food is not amazing. It's not just seasoning, it's also just goodness. Nice, folks. So we're gonna look at the official release from Anthropic, see what they say about their own model, and then we'll derive into a bit more variety into what's being said, how people interpret what's going on within the industry, what's going to change about it. And Mythos has been announced now for some time, and we're going to check whether I'm trying to make it bigger, or whether different sources differentiate. There's also a new model that's going to be announced from OpenAI. Control plus, can I reach it? I can just control in. Usually the control plus is not that big of an issue, but today we don't have any stand for a microphone. So it sucks a bit more. Nice. Assessing Claude's Mythos preview cybersecurity capabilities. Alright, so this is from April 7th. The April 7th was about two weeks ago. So here's what we have today. Earlier today, we announced Claude Mythos Preview, a general-purpose large language model. This model performs strongly across the board. but it is strikingly capable at computer security tasks. In response, we have launched Project Glasswing, an effort to use Mythos Preview to help secure the world's most critical software and prepare the industry for the practices we will all need to adopt to keep ahead of cyber attackers. So Project Glasswing is basically the idea that a few companies, which includes Google, AWS, Microsoft, of course, I think Apple, there's also CrowdStrike in there. So some very, very large cybersecurity vendors and IT vendors that impact the whole globe. And I think they're all American. And so they're basically already playing with this model, seeing what's up. I don't think we've heard feedback from them about how useful it is, but apparently it's been able to find some pretty important vulnerabilities there. So that's good, I guess. This blog post provides technical details for researchers and practitioners who want to understand exactly how we have been testing this model and what we have found over the past month. We hope this will show why we view this as a watershed moment for security and why we have chosen to begin a coordinated effort to reinforce the world's cyber defenses. Interesting. So yeah, the whole idea of this topic is to bring a coordinated effort to reinforce the world's defenses. It seems like a cool, noble cause, right? But on the surface, folks, we have to understand that Mythos, that Anthropic is a company that is seeking what's called an IPO, an initial public offering, which is a time where you get into the stock market for the first time. And you kind of want to get people excited about buying your stock, right? You don't want this to flop over. A lot of stuff have flopped, and you don't want to be one of these companies that just flops on release, because then investors are not happy. They're expecting money. You're expecting money. And yeah, so it's pretty nice to have these announcements to get people fired up and looking at your company before you release your the shares that you want to sell. So this is about it on the stock market and stuff. Spooky cyber doctor mode. Exactly, right? I look pretty spooky. Yeah, I was saying earlier, sick in the mind. If people would think I'm insane if I didn't know myself and just showed up like this for the first time, people would be like, "The fuck?" But yeah, spooky. It's a pirate radio, doc. Kind of looks like it, huh? Night streaming, green light. Holding my microphone for some reason. So yeah, sick in the mind, we're talking about AI and cyber and how we're all screwed, or not, in terms of AI taking over our cybersecurity jobs. Do you have a hot take on this? Sick in the mind and Cyberpunk Reno. Ooh, fun fact. I'm down for a fun fact. And Cyberpunk Reno, do you have a hot take as well on this topic of AI? Samantha, I'm down to listen to your opinion as well. You're still here? After that, we discuss how Mythos Preview has proven capabilities of reverse engineering exploits on closed source software and turning end-day, that is not known yet but widely patched, vulnerabilities into exploits. End-day, that's interesting. What is end-day vulnerabilities? That is known but not yet widely patched. Okay. And closed source software. Do you guys know what closed source software is? I'm gonna have a look at this. And then Second the Mind said, it's written in Anthropic user acceptance policy that you're not allowed to fully autonomously allow their system to make decisions that affect customers or consumers. That they must always be a human sign-off. Yeah. Do you have an idea why they do that? Like, why do you think they do that? I think I have a pretty good idea, but I want to see what you think. Cyberpunk rate. Oh, the sick in the mind that they asked for that. And Cyberpunk Reno is saying, my only saving grace is that this model is under the ownership of Anthropic, and they have denied to their LLM model being integrated into autonomous weaponized drones and mass surveillance tech. That's true. They have denied it. We'll talk about it because I think OpenAI has actually agreed to it. Is more open to it. So I think and we never know really what happens under the table, huh? Cyberpunk Reno, maybe they actually did get an agreement with the United States government. Maybe there's something going on that we don't know about as the public. I think the US military is pretty free to, has a lot of power to coerce people into doing certain things. Trump is pretty well known for bullying. Airbnb Bacon is back. Nice. Well, let's just read Sick in the Mind's as a Sick in the Mind message. No, OpenAI seems to have the same limitations for now. Yeah? Okay. Oh, okay, wait, I didn't read. There was a message from Sick in the Mind before. Yeah, I dropped my subscription with them when they agreed. Oh yeah, with OpenAI. Nice, that's pretty cool to make a statement. So it improves our productivity testing, but the human element is required to make the risk decisions because these decisions as a pen tester affect customers or consumers. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The risk decisions because decisions of a pen tester affect customer and consumers. Yeah. I mean, pen testing is a high stakes job, right? Where if you don't do it properly, you might crash your client, right? So it's something you have to be careful about. I just want to see our AI overloads come to their own. Ooh. We have AI overloads? Nice. Yeah, but Anthropic is so integrated into government system that lawsuits are already underway for all that. Wow, man, it's like typical United States. Isn't like 3/4, like, I don't know, I feel like so much of the country's money is going into lawyers. So pen testing, as long as there's a policy like this in place, isn't going anywhere. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and even then it's pretty high risk, you know, if you're just letting an AI do everything. At least at the moment, I think it's pretty high risk that, you know, where does the AI stop in their pen testing? Because the idea of pen testing is that for sure you stop at exploitation, but sometimes you want to stop earlier. What tells you that it's not going to go further down the kill chain? And folks, if you don't know what kill chain is, it's the idea that it's a whole process, the whole process of hacking, from reconnaissance and all the way to exploitation, extortion, and stuff like this, depending on the type of attack, of course. If the goal is money, which it usually is. And I think my take on this as more of a, sick in the mind. I'm working cyber insurance, and the whole idea of lawsuits and stuff like this is something that we study carefully, because this is where the cost of cybersecurity incidents comes from. And I think my take on this is that we were talking earlier as to why Anthropic was putting a clause in their user acceptance policy, in their users policy, that the Anthropic system could not just do automated stuff. There must always be a human in the loop. And my take on this is that Anthropic wants to avoid any kind of lawsuits again from their customers that say, hey, your system completely crashed my Windows, and now my company completely crashed. You owe us, I don't know, $30 million. And you're like, oh. And then Anthropic's like, oh. And so it's kind of a way to say, hey, you didn't have a human in the process. This is what we advise. We have all of these different safeguards in place. This is on you. This is on you, my good bro. Recon, enumeration, exploit, post-exploit, etc. So yeah, Cyberpunk Reno is talking about all the phases of what we call the kill chain, if you didn't know. They want to avoid any full autonomy. You think so? Anthropic wanted to avoid Joshua. Joshua is a lawyer? I'm not sure who Joshua is. Curious. If you not watch War Games, this doesn't make sense. Any full autonomy. I haven't watched a lot of movies. You folks recently pulled my arm and twisted it behind my back so that I would watch the hacker movie. So yeah, I haven't watched this one. He has not seen War Games. Yeah. There's so many internal jokes. I have to watch War Games. Maybe I'll see if I can watch it over the summer. Let me put in my chat, in my own notes. Movie called War Games. Movie called War Games. Nice. Yeah, no, I have not seen War Games. I'm connecting to chat. Nice. All right, hope you're all having a good time. Just a reminder what we're doing. We are learning about AI, what's going on within the world of cybersecurity, and how our profession is going to change as cyber folks, as cyber people. Like, how are our jobs going to change? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about your opinion, my opinion, and whoever has written any article we're reading as opinion. Cool. As we discussed below, we're limited in what this is the official what is it called? The official release from Anthropic from 2 weeks ago, April 7th. So we're reading it, we're trying to make sense of it, what they were releasing, what's been happening. As we discussed below, we're limited in what we can report here. Over 99% of the vulnerabilities we found have not yet been patched, so it would be irresistible for us to disclose details about them, per our coordinated vulnerability disclosure process. Yet, even the 1% of bugs we are able to discuss and give a clear picture of substantial leap in what we believe to be the next generation of modeled cybersecurity capabilities, one that warrants substantial, coordinated defensive action across the industry. We conclude our post with a advice for cyber defenders today and call the industry to begin taking urgent action in response. So they're being quite alarming, and we cannot say what exactly, but you all should be getting ready for this. Just strange. I really wonder to what extent this is bluff. Because I said before, Anthropic is likely going to likely introduce an IPO soon. No, it's not bluff. They want to look a little bit important as well, no? Don't you think? Second in mind, there's some business incentives there to kind of hype your product a bit. CVE published to CISA Kev is going to be under a 12-hour turnover. Can you explain to us what that is? Second in mind, what is it under 12 hours turnover? Published to CISA Kev. CISA Kev. I have to understand what that means. I understand CVE, but CISA Kev is not something I know. Patched diffing to exploit is going to take less than 12 hours with Mythos. I see. So this is the time you have between the publication of a vulnerability and the creation of the exploit. Is that the metric we're talking about here? Yes. Okay, nice. I'm just going to check what CISA Kev is, because I think I've heard of it before. Kev. Known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. Okay, nice. It makes sense that we have that. Like, it's a warning sign. Hey, companies, these are all the things. the things people are hacking you with. Be wary of it. How to use the Kev catalog, okay. Showing 1 out of 120 of 1,569. Holy moly, that's a lot of vulnerabilities. SharePoint improper validation vulnerability. CVE 34621. Known to be ransomware. Known to be used in ransomware campaigns. Unknown. So yeah, it's kind of a rough thing. This was date added, the 13th of April. Due date 27th. What do you think the due date means? But you don't see it. I think it's quite small on your screen. Okay, so CISA Kev is the known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. Patched diffing to exploit is gonna take less than 12 hours with Mythos, yes. CISA Kev is vulnerabilities that have been identified, exploited in the wild. So it's basically intelligence gathering, CISA Kev. These are currently being exploited in the wild by ATPs, Advanced Precision Threats, if you folks know, over threat actors. Due date is the mandatory deadline for Fed to upgrade. Ah, okay, nice. Wow, that sounds tough. I wonder to what level of compliance they have this. You know, if you're FIFA. I was thinking about the FBI and then I thought about the CIA. So it came out as FIFA. FIFA, if you don't know, is the organization that does, amongst other things, the football World Cup. So yeah, they don't exactly do the same thing. And the CIA and the FBI, they probably for sure do it, but I wonder to what extent, you know, the town hall of Rapid City does it, you know, but yeah, the Homeland Security and stuff are gonna do it. So I think there's some wide variations here in terms of who patches faster, who patches first, you know. CISA Kev is where we can confirm these exploits are being used in the wild. Your criticality to push patches needs to be escalated. Yeah, nice. It's a little bit of pressure. And is there consequences if public entities do not patch the systems as CISA Kev does it? Do you know, Sick? Yes? Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Wow, that's a lot of pressure for them, huh? It's a lot of pressure for them. But I think it makes sense, you know, there's just so many cyber attacks going on right now. And a lot of them we don't know about. So yeah, it's definitely something that we need to keep in mind. Cool. So let's read a bit more. We're here, folks. We're reading the release from Anthropic, and we're understanding what it means for us cyber folks. For public companies, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. The significance of Claude Mythos preview for cybersecurity. During our tests, we found that Mythos preview is capable of identifying and then exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities in every major operating system and every major web browser when directed to by a user to do so. The vulnerabilities it finds are often subtle or difficult to detect. Many of them are 10 or 20 years old, with the oldest we found so far being a now patched 27-year-old bug in OpenBSD, an operating system known primarily for its security. Yeah? Damn. Let's open... What is OpenBSD? Have you folks used it? I feel like Cyberpunk Reno is the type of person to have used it. OpenBSD es un sistema de operativo de tipo libre y tipo Unix basado en 4.4 BSD enfocado en la seguridad proactiva, portabilidad y estandarización y criptografía integrada. So it's a Linux-based system that focuses on security. Basically, it has cryptography included, portability, standardized stuff. So yeah, some pretty secure computers. But yeah, apparently there was a 27-year-old bug that no one saw for a long time. God damn. The whole world of vulnerability is so strange to me, folks, still. My main goal when I started streaming was to actually understand it a bit better. But I feel like I don't really understand it much better than I used to. The whole idea of exploits, the whole idea of what a vulnerability is still a little bit strange. I think we're more or less at the script kiddie stage where we understand what a vulnerability is. We can run a script that will find a vulnerability and another one that will exploit it. So this we can do. Where we struggle more, I feel, is finding vulnerabilities, is understanding how these vulnerabilities actually work. And I think very few of us actually have. Most old folks have. Nice. I have. Yeah. I have scripted my vulnerabilities and ran some exploits, but to what extent is this real hacking? Is it like understanding vulnerabilities, right? I'm not that old, but I do resemble that remark, lol. Nice. The shoe fits, no. Nice. The exploits it constructs are not just run-of-the-mill stack smashing exploits. Okay. Though, as we'll show, it can be those too. In one case, Mythos Preview wrote a web browser exploit that changed together 4 vulnerabilities, writing a complex JIT heap spray that escalated both renderer and OS sandboxes. It anonymously obtained local privilege escalation exploits on Linux and operating system by exploiting subtle race condition and castle R bypasses. Wow. So I think what they're trying to get to here is how good their model is at exploiting. I'm not sure what the KSLR bypasses are. Race conditions, yeah. As it autonomously wrote a remote code execution for exploit on FreeBSD's NFS server that granted full root access to unauthorized users by splitting a 20-gadget ROP chain over multiple packets. So I think what they're trying to say here is that, hey Freedom DAO, nice, hello. I think it's your first chat here, no? Let me double check that. It is your first chat. Welcome, Freedom DAO. Good to have you. We're here talking about AI, cybersecurity, and what the world is for us as cyber defenders. What does it mean for all of us? What does it mean for our jobs? Are we all fucked or what? And yeah, Freedom DAO, are you in cybersecurity? What's your status here? Are you interested in cybersecurity? Just here for a good time? Cyberpunk Reno says, I have a book that is a user's manual for OpenBDS. Of course you do, within my library, just because of course you do. Typical XR behavior. Uh-huh. Airbnb Bacon is saying, nice. And Sick in the Mind is saying, kernel address space layout randomized bypass. I think it means a more secure software ecosystem. You're talking about the AI here. It means it's gonna create a more secure system. Yeah, Cyberpunk Reno likes books. Yeah, you like theory. You like books. There's a few things about your lore I'm really starting to understand in depth. Job security, lol. As long as there's dev to write vulnerable code, we're fine. Yeah. Do you think AI will write with vulnerabilities as well? I think maybe as well. The thing is, there might be less and less human oversight in developing code, right? Like if code is super cheap and you can just create it with AI, why would you have devs, right? So I think when AI starts to make one mistake, it might be very exploitable because it's going to be in a lot of places. Because what is it called? A dev will only able to work, I don't know, up to 12 hours a day maximum. But AI will be able to work with 10,000 devs simultaneously. So if AI makes one mistake, has one vulnerability when it codes, that code is going to be widespread, and the systemic risk, the risk of everyone getting a cyber attack at the same time, getting vulnerable at the same time, is much higher. My small take. I coded a lot with of AI. Yeah, for sure. Sick in the mind, absolutely. It's probably why more and more sec DevOps roles are popping up. Isn't it DevSecOps usually? Yeah, it's possible. I don't know if you keep up with the crazy shit. Even Opus, Claude's flagship product, has been dropping the ball hard lately. Let me just double check what dropping the ball hard means. I'm just your average European person trying to speak English. I need to double check stuff. Dropping the ball meaning. Do. Make a mistake. Mishandle things. What's up, Doc? Hey, Mr. Yellow Owl. It's been so long. Welcome back. What's up? We good. We chilling for the most part. We chilling. We having a good time. And we talking about AI and cyber. What it means for all of us. What it means for our jobs. What it means for our kids. What it means for the world. No, I'm kidding, but this is actually very interesting. We're learning a lot of concepts together. We've been good. It has been very busy. It has been busy as fuck with work. Yeah, really? Mr. Yellow Owl, I'm trying to remember what you work as. I know you're in cyber. Are you potentially a person that has like 20 years experience in penetration testing or something? If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Yellow Owl. Airbnb Bacon telling absolutely true thing in the mind. Open 4.6 has been having some sort of middle life crisis lately. Okay. This is what we're talking about. And to keep up with the crazy shit, even Opus, Claude's flagship product has been dropping the ball hard lately. So it's been disappointing. AI coding, no. AI doing some small tasks like pen testing methodology, sure. Absolutely true. Opus 4.6 has been having some sort of midlife crisis of late. See, folks, this is why. And then the second mind is saying the state cleans every time. The slate cleans every time to fail stupendously. This is why I say as well that I think that because Anthropic has been dropping the ball lately and they're looking to release an IPO, to announce an IPO, I think they also need to have some positive things going on for themselves. And this, a model that can automate exploits and everything, is a really good way to get your name out there. So I think that you know, this might be a response to all this controversy of them being not that good, maybe after all. I think the problem with AI coding is there's perception that everybody can do it. 100%. It's not a perception. Everybody can do it. It's just to what extent can you code complex things? I'm just dropping information here. Lol, we do R&D. All we do the stuff mainly custom devs. Lol, we do R&D. We do all the stuff mainly custom dev. I do have a bunch of experience with pen testing. We actually are working with Microsoft doing AI penetration testing for them. Oh, nice. Really cool. And so, well, tell us about your perspective. What do you think about Mythos and the future of penetration testing, of cybersecurity within the AI world? Yeah, small task is what AI is good at. Contextualizing big project, less. Yeah, less so, I agree. Everything I've written with AI has been successful, but I know how to code. Yeah, you've been careful about it. I think that's a key thing. I also use AI quite a lot in my work. I think it can automate so many things. Like, I think what we humans struggle with is the sheer amount of information that we have to take in our jobs. Like, for me, for instance, whenever I work in cyber insurance, right? And whenever I have to assess an account, because, right, there's a thing in cyber insurance is that you're selling a product, which is a financial product. So when you sell it, it's good. Overall, people like, nice, you insured this company. This means we all get to have money and we can eat. But we also have to make sure that the company that you insure is not too bad, right? And so what we have to do as cyber insurers is always check the state of the company, how good it is. And there's just so much information. When we take a risk questionnaire, for instance, they can be up to 120 pages of information, of questions and answer. Like, do you have OT vulnerability management in your critical plans? Kind of question. And you have to do maybe 1 or 2 of these analyses every day. So AI is really good in synthesizing the great number of things. And AI can also look at the company's websites, look at blogs and forums, see what they're up to. And this is super useful for us as analysts because we don't have time to go read the websites ourselves and stuff. But I'm not sure to what extent it's still accepted at work. Like, yes, I'm doing it, but to what extent is my boss and stuff okay with it? This is something that's not super clear to me. Because there's always a risk that AI will say stupid shit. But to an extent, I kind of reassure myself that, there's equal odds that myself, I will fuck up and not just the AI. Like, the AI has maybe a 10% chance of fucking up. I probably also have a 10% chance of fucking up. So this is what I'm telling myself in things like, yeah, I'm using something that's not necessarily perfect, but I'm not perfect either. So we have to find a middle ground. Questionnaire, that's a perfect use for AI. Indeed, I agree. For understanding things, but you do need to provide contextual. You need to contextualize, like you said, second of mind. Contextualizing big projects, no. Yeah, I wonder why it struggles to do this. It struggles to contextualize AI. All right, Mr. Yao said, I like AI testing. It's cool that there will be some cool defensive techniques that will come out of it, I am sure. Nice. Yeah, I think there's definitely cases for both offensive and defensive. It's going to shift our profession for sure. Airbnb Bacon is saying, I take a lot of advantage of initiative. AI Bacon says, I take a lot of advantage of AI for my work on a daily basis, but it really doesn't have to come up with something new anymore, since there's a solid framework around the solution already. The architecture is hardened and skills are propagated and updated whenever something fails. Can you tell us a bit more about your work? What is it that you do? Probably a developer, no? You develop something and now you're more into the maintenance of it? Could that be? Non-experts can also leverage Mythos Preview to find and exploit sophisticated vulnerabilities. Engineers at Anthropic with no formal security training have asked Mythos Preview to find remote code execution vulnerabilities overnight and woken up with the following morning to a complete working exploit. In other cases, we've had researchers develop scaffolds that allowed Mythos Preview to turn vulnerabilities into exploits without any human intervention. So the thing that's new, I think, folks, is that it does more of the kill chain, right? It doesn't just find vulnerabilities and say, hey guys, this is the vulnerability I found. It also constructs exploits, which is pretty damn powerful in our era. And I'll get back to your message, Urban Bacon. And it's pretty powerful in our era. And the reason for this is because I think with AI coding, there's going to be a lot more code everywhere. Right? Because code is so cheap, people are just going to be developing their own code. And I think because people are going to be developing their own code, there's going to be a lot of local vulnerabilities, if that makes sense. Let me explain more. So if I type a code on my computer and Cyberpunk Reno types one on their computer and Airbnb Bacon types code on their computer, then maybe we're going to have different codes, right? And this means that we might have different vulnerabilities in our code. So somehow that becomes interesting where we can all have custom code, and this Claude Mythos might be an answer to hack us individually, find, let's say, personal vulnerabilities. What do you guys think about this idea? I'm not sure if it makes sense, but each person having developed their own little private solution becomes, and then Mythos is able to find personal vulnerability onto this computer, onto this code, and can take it. Personal vulnerabilities onto this code and can take it, and can like create exploits and do all the kill chain for us. Nice. And let me know what you think about that. Like, is this something that has legs? Is that something you say? Eso tiene piernas? Yeah, I think it's an expression in English. All right, Airbnb Bacon is telling us, I'm a software engineer. Yes, currently working on a business as a process. Yeah, I did that. It's nice. Solution. It's rather large, about 171 projects, including the solution as is. Holy moly. What is business as a process? What is a business as a software process? Never heard of this, Airbnb Bacon. No, if I was typing Airbnb Bacon. Business as a process. Can you tell us more about that? I was going to look on the internet, but maybe you're in a better position to tell us what it's about. Business process. So yeah, I think that with AI, we're going to get more and more customized options for finding vulnerabilities. These capabilities have emerged very quickly. Last month, we wrote that Opus 4.6 is currently far better at identifying and fixing vulnerabilities than at exploiting them. Internal evaluations showed that Opus 4.6 had a near zero success rate at autonomous exploit development, but Mythos Preview is in a different league. For example, Opus 4.6 turned the vulnerabilities it had found in Mozilla Firefox 147 script engine, all patched in Firefox 148, into JavaScript shell exploits with only 2 times out of several hundred attempts. We reran this experiment from benchmark from Mythos Preview, which we developed working exploits 181 times and achieves register controls on 29 more. God damn. So yeah, it's just better. The thing that's tricky is that it is better at developing exploits. But truly, what does that mean for us as defenders? Like it's better. It's just does more of the whole kill chain, right? Of the whole chain of doing exploits. It's pretty damn good at it to the point where it doesn't matter. Like more things can be done doing automated AI, and I think it goes alongside the main narrative that we're seeing right now in the physical world, so the military world, where we're seeing the capabilities of autonomous drones as becoming a question. Now we have a similar thing for computers. It's like we can automate attacks, right? It kind of goes hand in hand. If you can automate a drone to do things in the physical world, to attack things in the physical world by itself, then why wouldn't it happen as well on computers? This is kind of the idea of all of this. And I wonder, right now Mythos is only done by Anthropic, but to what extent can this be done doing open AI or doing open tools, right? With open tools. I think it's a very valid concern that yes, today this is only accessible by only a few companies that Anthropic have decided to give this to. But to what extent is this not going to be a tool that anyone can create in a few years, right? To what extent can we do this summer? It'd be fun. I want to work more in AI this summer, folks. So we read this part. Pretty interested. Let's look. Oh, this is not dark theme, unfortunately. So yeah, it got a lot better at doing exploits. Percentage of trials generated of successful exploit. Yeah. Maybe yeah, so it's better at generating exploits. I mean, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't know what really to say about this. Like, it's cool. It's cool that it can write exploits. I don't really know what to say about it. It's like it's cool it can write exploits, but to what extent does it impact us on the cybersecurity industry? This is what it says, right? Sick in the mindset that the faster the time to find vulnerabilities to the creation of exploits, the less time we have to patch, and everything's going to become faster in cybersecurity. I think this is the main learning from what AI is doing to us. Everything's going to become faster in cybersecurity. And this, as a cyber insurer, folks, I get to listen to people, to very important CISOs, mostly in Western Europe, and all of them are saying we're working on becoming faster at cybersecurity. All of them are saying we're working on becoming faster. And this is a message that we were pushing already at CrowdStrike forever ago, because I was working at CrowdStrike before going into insurance. And this was a message we were pushing all the time. You need to be much faster. The attackers are getting faster. You need to be faster. So I think this is a key takeaway from AI, at least a very tangible one, is that we are going to be faster in cybersecurity. You need people always there. You need people to answer fast. Kind of crazy. Kind of bananas. All right, let's look a little bit more at Airbnb Bacon's message. He was telling us, they were telling us. Sorry about the microphone. I do not have a stand today, and holding it is kind of heavy. I think it weighs like maybe a pound or so. So it kind of gets tiring after all this time holding it. So I guess I'll hold it for myself. So we're talking about with Airbnb Bacon with software about the idea of business as a process. Business as a process. I think it's an interesting wording choice. And Airbnb Bacon is telling us basically business as a process addresses the sequence, which translates to workflow, of events within a specific or wide business process. It can be the disparity that often exists between different systems used by a company. So Department A uses System X, Department B uses System Y, and Department C uses System X and Y. Mostly companies end up focusing on importing and exporting or integrating in order to streamline their process. What we do is we identify these processes, then build up the modules to handle them. Okay. Commonly, processes are defined by the industry, the company itself, or by compliance rules. Anyway, helicopter overview. Wow, okay. So you help people have processes. Okay. So you kind of organize IT teams. Is that what's going on? I think your job is crazy interesting, and I haven't heard about it too much. But I'm not sure. We identify these processes, build the modules to handle them. Commonly, processes are defined by the industry, the company itself, or by compliant rules. Is this like, oh, today we're going to create a business process for the medical sector, and now we're the energy sector and stuff like this? Does it depend? Or is it very customizable? Do you sell it, this software can be used by all energy companies, or is it this software can be used by this company within this department, within this team? Like, how granular are you working? Second in Mind is telling us, I think Mythos should be offered to all major enterprises, vendors first, which is what they did, no? I think Mythos should be offered to all major enterprises vendors first. In short, we take agreements and contracts, parse them through a OCR process that extract what different processes need to secure their products before it's openly available. Oh, nice. Oh, so you kind of automate a lot of things. Sort of, yes, it's very customizable. Okay, I see. To secure, man, you must use a lot of AI. Is that how we started the conversation? Sort of, yes, it's very customizable to secure their products before it's openly available. Yeah, I mean, we already have that to an extent, Sick in the Mind, no? When we talk about SASTer, what is it called? Static Analysis Tooling and Dynamic Vulnerability Assessment Tools. And they're already supposed to do that. But yeah, I guess, and the thing is, so Sick in the Mind saying we should have more security at the end of processes before they're openly available. And I think it's true, and we can also use it during development, because the risk of doing something totally at the end is that you might find out a vulnerability before it's too late to patch. So having this ability to have this kind of AI security co-pilot on your side makes a lot of sense, because you're then able to find vulnerabilities earlier and treat them and stuff like this, which is just kind of scary, because you think about different analyst jobs that can give you feedback, and now you're like, AI has tons more experience, it's just much better at delivering feedback. I think, to what extent does this mean that we need analysts in the future? It's very complicated to analyze how the job market is going to evolve. It's a very complex thing, because I think nowadays companies are just so able to do things with AI all the time. I don't know, we've been learning, all of us together on stream, and we've been using AI to learn for the most part. We've been using each other and AI, but we're thinking, to what extent does it make sense to get a teacher at some point to teach us about certain things? I feel like the whole education, the whole analyst, a lot of jobs are just less relevant than they used to be. Like, if we did this 20 years ago, we would have to go to school, to go to university to learn all of this. We should have bought books. XR would have been very happy for this, but for us it doesn't. Like, we can just learn everything through AI, and it's just kind of crazy when you think about it, that we don't need each other as much as we used to. Anyway, I think we're going very deep on this. So folks, we're for anyone joining us, we're talking about, I'm going to change, here we go. So we have less white on our screen. We're talking about the impact of AI on cybersecurity, and practically the Mythos model, what it means for all of us. And we're going around as to what that means for our jobs in cybersecurity. If you're seeking one, or whether you already have one, what does this mean for all of us? And we're talking about Airbnb Bacon's job, and they're working on business as a process. So they help companies solidifying processes across departments and different things. So it's quite interesting. And now he's giving us an example. They're giving us an example. As an example, setting up a billing process that derives its cost model from MSA and a multitude of contracts from different vendors. It can read these, build a multi-dimensional pricing matrix, then create invoices from it, as an example. Wow, that's pretty cool. So it has the ability to view data in a lot of places, and then spread it, and then deliver reports on it. That's really nice. That's really nice. Like, there's a lot of value in being able to unite info across the organization. Because I think, I don't know if it was your experience, folks, within the corporate world, But it feels like the larger the company is, the more it becomes we call it in French, we have an expression called a gas factory. Like when you say something becomes a gas factory, it means it becomes ununderstandable. It's very complex in what it is. and no one really understands how it works. So I think tools like what Airbnb Bacon is talking about is basically the idea of providing clarity and understanding who does what in the business, how the teams are differently held and everything. So it's some pretty good, interesting stuff. And we said no. I'm saying Mythos is more capable of dynamic, static, and runtime assessment of code. It would cover gaps SaaS isn't protecting. Yeah, it's like a Mythos would be a SaaS on a vulnerability detection tool on steroids, basically. And I think exactly in the same way as we need these vulnerability tools to be used early, like we need them to be used early, these tools, and we need them to be used early, and the same thing applies to Mythos, basically. I think it's really interesting what you're saying, because think about it, folks. I'm talking about the security of our jobs in AI, in the era of AI. Think about it. If you want to become an assistant to doing a model, to doing, this is a really fun exercise. When you do threat models, do you guys know what threat models are? Threat models, if I'm guessing a few of you do, but the idea of threat models is that you usually you gather up in a team that are people who are working on the same thing, and you say, guys, what's, and then you ask yourself 4 questions. First, what are we working on? I forgot the first one. What are we working on? What can go wrong? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about it? This is basically the idea, as you have to question yourself. And as an analyst, I'm thinking to what extent this can be automated by AI, right? Because if you're asking what can go wrong, I think AI can be quite good at pointing out exactly what can be going on. I'm thinking more and more of these jobs where you advise people on how to do certain things. I'm thinking AI can just tell you how to do it. Do you really need to pay an analyst to come and help you out with things? I think less and less. This is less and less true, folks. What's your thought on this? Like about analysts and consultants, people that help advise people. It's a very specific human-centric job. But at the same time, advice can come from anywhere. Anyone can give out advice. Advice has become really cheap, just like code, maybe. Advice and instructions are becoming very cheap as well. Like writing is also becoming very cheap. Before we used to have, if you went on any freelancer website and decided, hey, I want someone that helps me write stories, you used to have to pay them a little bit of money. Nowadays, this is dirt cheap. You can just do it with AI. No one really writes text anymore by themselves. It's all done through AI. And this is happening with code as well. Writing code is becoming dirt cheap. It's becoming a commodity. So to what extent is advice, our instructions, different things like that, not becoming also super cheap? Like to what extent are KPMG and stuff like this still relevant if all they hand out is advice, if AI can do it for them? Do you understand where I'm going, folks? I want to understand your opinion about it. There's 8 brains in the watching. There's 9 brains if you count mine. Watching the stream, so maybe we have pretty cool ideas together as where we're headed. I'm saying Mythos is more capable of dynamic, static, and runtime assessment of code. It could never cover gaps SaaS isn't protecting. Oh yeah, you think so? Well, it depends on the SaaS, no? Depends on the SaaS. I mean, I think it's it's like a SaaS, SaaS on steroids, basically. Airbnb King is saying, completely agree, Mythos should become either consumer service, running a full sandbox environment to companies. This should become a consumer service, running full sandbox environment to companies. I think so. And I think that's the goal of it eventually. It should evolve and harden enterprise systems to protect the people first. Having been in the consulting industry for more than 20 years, I believe there will always be a need for analysts and consultants. Often, especially with data, knowing what data you have and what data you need is increasingly becoming more important. Interesting. And also, do you think there's, especially that more and more data is available, for sure. And do you think that Airbnb, there's a thing where there's a system where we also, as humans, whenever we make decisions, need to listen to other humans as well for guidance. Like there's an internal need for listening to other humans and getting that oh yeah, I understand you feeling that AIs just cannot give right now. I think this comes into play a lot into the psychology of how we deal with things, how we understanding business problems and cybersecurity issues. I think there's a key human element there. Second one, what's SaaS on steroids? What did I miss? I'm talking about how Mythos preview might become. It's just like a SaaS. It detects vulnerabilities. It's at runtime. It detects different things. So this is what I'm saying. It is a SaaS on steroids. This is the idea. So it's just better at detecting vulnerabilities than traditional SAST is. SAST, folks, is I think it's static analysis vulnerability tool, but there's an S, so I don't know what the S is for. I got a message from Google Meta. Ooh, nice. Google Meta, yeah, I remember you came on the chat before. I was typing my regular computer password. This is not it. Airbnb is telling us most data analysts I know, including my wife, know exactly how to interpret data using objective modeling. Using AI assist with this is incredibly effective. To model data, interpret it, and stuff like this, yeah, for sure. And human brings the creativity, the understanding, the guidance. I think it works. It works for the most part. It makes sense that things would work like this. Google Meta is sending us a blog about cybersecurity after Mythos, the jacked frontier. You know what? This is gonna be our next topic. Google Meta. We're gonna click on this after we finish this. Thank you for sharing this link. Yes, very much so. Well, based on that question, I would argue you don't trust what AI gives in general. Yeah. And I think there might be a tipping point. There might be a tipping point in time where so much of what we do comes from AI that you're like, okay, I can't take this anymore. There has to be a human that explains it to me. Does that make sense? I think humans need to hear things from other humans too. It's like AI kind of lacks taste. I don't know. There's a few things where I think we humans still need humans. Like, even though AI is cheaper, sometimes cheaper is not as good. Does that make sense? Everyone wants things cheaper, but you get what you paid for sometimes. So if that makes sense, we'll still be needing some human touch in what we do later on down the road. It's static application security testing. Thank you very much. Inspected like a first-year college student, gave it their first assignment every time. Yeah. So it can be useful to have a first assessment, but then you kind of need a second and a third and etc. So AI is really good at giving you perspective into that. Airbnb, one of the Japanese companies I worked for, had a massive decision analysis. One of the Japanese companies I worked for had a massive decision analyst project going on where they tended to make decisions based solely on the data It was very interesting to see what the human part of this chain contributed. Nice. Second, the mind is telling us, misconception you got to understand about SaaS scanner is developers interpret what the results are. So SaaS scanners gives you a raw analysis and then it has to be understood by developers, right? Yep, that makes sense. Okay. I'm rereading Airbnb Bacon's message. Nice. I mean, working in consulting. What do you think about your time having worked in consulting, Airbnb Bacon? Was this fruitful? Is this something you recommend to other people? Are you happy that you went down this path? I'm asking because this is a path I was exploring as well, going into consulting. Just kind of wondering what it could have been. Developers sometimes suppress this shit because they feel it's not exploitable. Yeah. Are you in Australia? Lol, no. It feels, yeah, the typical human bias where we think, yeah, it doesn't feel like this is possible. Like, it's not possible. But this is all something we tell ourselves. Folks, is it time we move on to Google Meta's link, which is which seems to be a nice understanding of it. As blog AI cybersecurity after Mythos, the jagged frontier. I'm pretty down to see it. Als.com blog cybersecurity. Let's do it. I'm down to check it out. So we're talking about consulting with Airbnb Bacon. I guess it depends on what industry you want out of it. For multi-industry experience, then consulting experience is excellent. There's some key factors on how you thrive in that industry though. I personally don't regret going down the consulting route. Nice. You say there's some key factors that you thrive in that industry though. Would you want to drop like the main factor in how you thrive in that industry though? In that industry of consulting? Consulting is not for the faint of heart. My first 5 years pen testing was consulting. Nice. Nice again in mind. Okay, that explains your level of pen testing. The problem with consulting is pressure. It never lets up. Yeah, because it's very much, you get paid per hour that you work, right? Like the company you work for gets paid for every minute that you're at the job, so there's a lot of pressure for you to deliver, I guess. Yeah, regular jobs are chiller. But I wonder to what extent we're just farming wind, There's a saying in French where you're working in the wind to an extent. You're charging some hours, you're charging some billable hours, but is what you're doing really effective for the client? Is sometimes a question I ask myself as consultants. Like, are you always useful? Is there a use to working this much? All right, let's go. We're gonna go and check out Google Meta's link. It was AISLE Cyber After Mythos. What is jagged? Jag. Meaning. Jag diccionario. A sharp projection. And you can stab, pierce, or prick. After the Mythos, the jagged frontier. Oh, nice. They have a too long didn't read. Pretty cool. Let's put this larger. Much larger. There we go. So let's look at the summary first. For that, I think we have some chats to check out. Ooh. Some nice conversations today, folks. Thank you for taking part in it. Yeah, high billable stress. Sure, the main key factor for consulting is to be able to deal with stress. And that's what Sick in the Mind said. The idea of working 40-hour a week is almost null and void. I mean, you meet and get to work with a lot of cool people. Some give and take out of it. So some give and take out of it, yeah. Okay, I get what you mean. You get a lot of experience, you get a little bit of money, but the money's not that good, is it, in consulting? So you learn a lot if you want. Also, one of the biggest values that consultants bring are experience. Often this is a likelihood that you can find a consultant that has dealt with the exact problem you are trying to solve. My busiest season was when I worked 21 days in a row. Holy shit. Wow, 21 days in a row. It's a lot of days in a row. Oof, especially on a computer and everything. Challenging. Money in consulting equals the value you bring, period. Yep. The more value you bring, the more money as a consultant you will earn. So basically your employer just makes a commission from having you. Usually like a 50% commission or more, but the money is equal to the value that you bring. Then look, the more value you bring, the more money you make. And then took my OSCP exam to the end, lol. And I got to the points to pass and went to bed, said fuck it, I was burnt out, I didn't want to do another report, I bet. Anyway, you got the certification though, that's pretty cool. Alright folks, for folks joining us right now, we are checking out the impact. We are reading an article that says AI cybersecurity after Mythos, the jagged frontier. I understand what jag means here. It's been a pierced frontier. Something new is happening. And so we're getting to understand it. Wrench is getting angry. Not yet to YouTube, please. Guys, I'm very sorry about this. Sorry, guys. I need to get a second screen for this. I get that you're angry. I would be angry too if my streamer were not looking at YouTube, but it's impractical. Yeah, but I'm sorry. It's true that I stream on YouTube. It's kind of bullshit on my end that I stream on YouTube and don't look at the chat. It's kind of bullshit. So guys, I'm very sorry about it. Yeah. So you're talking about amongst yourself. Don't forget to look at YouTube chat. Then you said this 21 minutes ago. I get your anger, guys. Can you tell them to YouTube chat? Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna read them now. Oh, there's plenty of them too, huh? There's Wrench and Jim the Dandy. All right, Wrench. What about the cost of those tokens that we're using? Humans suck. It won't be as cheap for long as someone has to bear the cost of hardware, network, and someone had software. Systems are running 24/7 using resources. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to comment them as much. They're kind of on the moment. Jim the Dandy. Yeah, but we got resources, just energy, and we've got fossil fuels for centuries. Yeah, Wrench. You kind of want to get back at me, yeah? I get your frustration 100%. But what am I supposed to do? Like, I tried going on multi-chat here. You can't have it on the phone. I need to have a second screen, and my work so far has not been willing to pay for it. It's $100. Maybe I can pay for it myself. When am I going to the office? I'm going to the office on Monday. Maybe I can ask them. To the IT people, see what's happening, what's doable. But yeah, so, sorry guys. I'm in trouble. You can combine the two in one. There are tools for that. There are 100% tools for that. I am reading from one of them. It's just which one of them can get me on my phone. Can get on my phone because I'm using the computer for displaying the stream. But I 100% get you, Wrench. I would be pretty upset too. So yeah, please forgive me. I know I've been asking for this for forgiveness a bit too long, but I need to do something about it. So promise, I'll do it on Monday. I'll put it in my calendar right now to ask my IT team if they can pay for it. And the reason why I think why work should pay for it is because I need to work when I'm on business trips as well. It's not just to read chats. So yeah, I'm gonna put it on Monday. We have to do. I'm gonna put it here. Let's say at 11 a.m. Talk to IT about secondary screen. I'm going for IT support. No one is hiring fresher in cybersecurity. In cyber, I think IT support is actually a pretty good one to get into. All right, there's a lot of chats. We'll go into overall chill, nice and creepy. So there's plenty of chats, and we'll deal with those, and then we'll get back to the article in a little bit. Oh, nice song. Little music break. Nice. I feel like I should display an ad here. Nice. We vibing. Just energy. We got fossil fuels for centuries. We do have fossil fuel for a long time. It's unfortunate, but yeah. Second the mindset, I eventually retook it and got my OSCP, but at the end of a 21-day stretch, 24 exam, I was over it. Yeah, I bet. Tell them come over to Twitch. Nah, I mean, they're good on YouTube. If they want to be on YouTube, they should hang out on YouTube. It's also good. The thing is, Twitch is very defensive about their platform. Kind of get it. And the more value you bring, the more opportunities you get. That's why lucky, really. Having lived in 3 different countries, had the opportunities to be part of a lot of exciting projects. Yeah, which countries were there? I'm pretty interested in that. And yeah, folks, for everyone watching, we're talking about whether consulting is still a good job to have. And we think that yes, for the most part it is. It's just that the downside is that you work a ton. Reg is saying we can combine the 2-in-1. There are tools for that. Yeah, we talked about it. Second mind said, oh, Claude giving $20 credit for downtime load. Really? Nice. You know what you gotta do. So you know what you gotta do. You gotta create downtime so that everyone gets $20 credit. I'm going for IT support now. No one has hiring fresher in cybersecurity, and I think support is such a good job. People don't like it, and I can understand why. But I think it's a lot of good experience. Dealing with humans, dealing with problems, dealing with explaining things with patience. I think it's a skill that many IT folks are missing. And I think it can be quite rewarding helping people out, especially when you get to see them, kind of help them. Like, especially when you get to see it in person, I think it really helps. Sick in the Mind says, get on that dual live stream terminal chat. You're doing free ads for them, that's why. For Twitch and YouTube, I'm not sure. This was 3 minutes ago. Sick in the Mind said, run that on your Kali box and just have your ChatGPT terminal on the right. Discord, Twitch. Twitch doesn't let me put commands in there. Yeah, I didn't program anything for YouTube. When you type !Discord, doesn't let me put comment in there. Damn, guys. Yeah, this dual stream is not easy. If you look at at general chat on Discord, you can see Wrench is pretty upset. I understand. So cool, some cool career talks. I think going into IT support is a great idea, Wrench. I understand you want to get into cyber, and I think if you get into IT support first, it's gonna get you. It's gonna open a lot of doors for you, and you're gonna see whether you still like IT and stuff like this. It's really nice. I think it's quite a nice job. Cool, folks. We got this. Let's go. What do we need to do? We want to go back. If he came over here, we could give him tips on cyber. I think yeah. Wrench. You can see the chats now. Wrench on the left here. You can still talk to him. He just cannot talk to you. Because he has the chat over here on the left, and he sees the chat, but you don't see his chats. Because I can't display it on YouTube, I think. On Twitch. I cannot display YouTube chats on Twitch. Caramba. But luckily you all in the same Discord server, so you can talk about that. And the Discord server has a career consultation path, so No, just saying. Just saying, folks. I won't join the dark side, Wrench says. You can. There's no such thing as a dark side. We're all on the light side together. On the gray side, right? Because we're not closing door to being illegal, right? Don't clip that. Don't do that. Alright, we're good hackers, guys. Right? All of us. Yeah, we are. Twitch policy fully permits displaying combined chats. Really? As of February 12, 2026? What the shit? Really? Really? February 20... Oh my god, let's check this out. That'd be a huge thing. Twitch... Do you know Twitch allows multi-chat since Feb 2026. Nice. Help Twitch guideline articles simultaneous guidelines. Oh, nice. No way. I'm taking a photo of your chat so I can come over there later. I was thinking of going to cybercrime industry. There are not many cyber criminal groups in India. Guys, Ren just admitted that he wanted to commit crime. I was thinking of going in cybercrime industry. There are not many cyber criminal groups in India. Do you mean you want to chase the bad guys or do you want to become one of them? Just Google Twitch multicasting guidelines. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. Man, I think Wrench is gonna spend the night in jail. I have a friend that spent the night in jail once, and he says that he very much enjoyed the free sandwich that he got. He had a tortilla sandwich that was nice and warm. And someone was like, that was pretty good. And nothing happened to him, so he got a free hotel night and a free sandwich, so congrats to him. Just Google. He could totally go after the scammers call center with the police. Does that make money though? Does that make money? I don't know what I would do if I were working in India. I don't know. I really want to visit India one day, Wrench. Where you can hang out there. Which city are you from in India, Wrench? India's a big country. It would be if he was working in the police. True. Yeah, agree. I won't tell my lawyer has advised me to comment on that. Nice. Which city are you from or which region? Even if you tell us the city, there's 1.56 billion Indian people, so we probably won't know who you are. It'd be really hard to tell. My lawyer has advised not to comment on that. Nice. Capital Delhi. Well, that's like 20 million people in Delhi. So yeah, we don't. Okay, Delhi. I want to go to India one day, folks. Are you folks on Twitch also attracted about the idea of going to India one day to visit? I like the idea of going to India. I really want to go have some good food, see the streets and all. I think it can be quite messy though. Wrench, have you been outside of India yet? I will just send you my LinkedIn doc. Nice. After you admitted that you want to do crime, just send me your LinkedIn. Freaking genius. I'll hire you for ethical hacking. Just send in my LinkedIn doc. Nice. All right, let's go back to our scene here, and I'll do my best to switch screen and come back to you, dear Wrench. And Jim the Dandy was there as well, but I think Jim the Dandy might have bailed me. Which I understand. I understand that you guys are upset about this. Why the moat is the system, not the model. Okay, the moat, folks, for those that don't know, I had to learn about it, is the thing that's around the castle, the protective barriers against the castle. So why the moat is the system, not the model? Oof, it's a deep question. Is that the, okay. Why the moat is the system, not the model? I'm not sure what this means, but it sounds pretty deep. Too long, didn't read. We tested Anthropic Mythos showcase vulnerabilities on small, cheap, open weights models. They recovered most of the same analysis. AI cybersecurity capability is very jagged. It doesn't scale smoothly with model size, and the moat is the system into which deep security expertise is built, not the model itself. Mythos validates the approach, but it does not settle it yet. What the fuck? I don't get it. I don't get it, folks. I'm already at step one, and I don't understand what this means. Google Meta is just too genius for us. Big brain move. Nice. All right. So, the announcement. On April 7th, Anthropic announced Claude Mythos Preview and Project Glasswind, a consortium of technology companies formed to use their new limited access AI model called Mythos to find and patch security vulnerabilities in critical software. Anthropic committed up to $100 million in usage credits and $4 million in direct donations to open source security organizations. Well, that's really nice of them. The accompanying technical blog post from Anthropic's Reddit team refers to Mythos autonomously finding thousands of zero-day vulnerabilities across every major operating system and web browser, with details including a 27-year-old bug bounty in OpenBSD and a 16-year-old bug in FFmpeg. Okay, great. FFmpeg sounds good. Beyond discovery, the post detail exploit construction of high sophistication, multi-vulnerability privilege escalation chains in the Linux kernels, just-in-time heap sprays, escaping browser sandboxes, and a remote code execution exploit against FreeBSD that Mythos wrote autonomously. So yeah, as we read, it's not just about finding vulnerabilities, it's also about writing the exploits for them. Okay, and let's go move on to the test. But here's what we found, and here's what we found when we tested. We took the specific vulnerabilities Anthropic showcases in their announcement, isolated the relevant code, and ran them through a small, cheap, open weights models. These models recovered much of the same analysis. 8 out of 8 models detected Mythos' flagship FreeBSD exploit, including one with 3.6 billion active parameters costing 11 cents per million tokens. So very small, very cheap models can also find what Mythos is saying. Interesting. What do you think about this Google Meta, I think is your name? Google Meta, not Meta, Google Meta. What do you think about this? Did you read this article that you shared? Did you read this article that you shared there? Interesting question. And so on a basic security reasoning tasks, small models outperform most frontier models for every major lab. The capability ranking reshuffled completely across tasks. There's no stable best model across cybersecurity tasks. The capability frontier is jagged. Holy moly. What does that mean for us? Folks, I really want to get into AI security over the summer. Like, I think we need to get ourselves a good model out there. Spend some money, get ourselves some pretty good hardware, and develop a good model. We don't need the best model, but we need some pretty good model. I don't know if we need to run it locally. Maybe we don't even need the hardware. Maybe we should do some research on this in the next days. This points to a more nuanced picture than One model changed everything. The rest of this post presents evidence in detail. Context, where AI cybersecurity already stands. At AL, we're running a discovery and remuneration system across live targets since mid-2025. 15 CVEs in OpenSSL, including 12 out of 12 in a single security release, with bugs dating back to 25 plus years and a CVSS 9.8 critical, 5 CVEs in curl, over 180 externally validated CVEs across 30 plus projects spanning the... Okay, this is an ad, no? This kind of felt like an ad. Jim the Dandy's back. Jim the Dandy, it's like monkeys on a typewriter analogy. More stupider LLMs can find the same exploitables. You can just get an API key from Google and get 2,000 queries for free. Just make an open claw. Maybe. That sounds pretty good. Open claw. Do you need a lot of computer power for this? No. You said open claw. You can just do it using Google queries. So you don't need to have any local hardware. No, it's not using your local hardware. Folks, if multi-chats is active for everyone, this is going to be a game changer for us. I'm not sure. Nice. All right, let's get back to it. So yeah, it's kind of like monkeys practicing. Just the stupider ones are just as good. Apparently, this is what they're saying. But I wonder to what extent they have a commercial AI SaaS, enterprise, private development, SSO compliance, developer security code we can ship, open source, about us. Real CVEs found by them. Okay. Broad spectrum scanning, navigating a large code base, often hundreds of thousands of files to identify which function are worth examining. Excuse me, I'll read from the beginning. Mythos at a code base and finds unexploitable vulnerabilities. In practice, however, AI cybersecurity is a modular pipeline of very fine tasks, each with vastly different scaling properties. Broad spectrum scanning, navigating a large code base, often hundreds of thousands of files, to identify which functions are worth examining. Then it can also do vulnerability detection, given the right code, spotting what's wrong. Triage and verification, distinguishing true positives from false positives, assessing severity and exploitability. So this feels like a bit agentic, no? Each module has their own thing that they can do. Number 4. Patch generation, fixing vulnerability correctly. Okay. And number 5, potentially also exploit construction, turning a vulnerability into a working attack. ROP chains, privilege escalation, sandbox escapes. Jim the Dandy saying you'll need one local computer that sends off prompts to the big boys. Yeah, so like just basic hardware. Even your phone can do it. Like, right? It doesn't really require much hardware at all. The bottom line, before the evidence, we'll present the detailed experiments below, but let us state... I'm reading poorly again. The bottom line, before the evidence, we'll present the detailed experiments below, but let us state the conclusion up front so evidence has a frame. The moat in AI security is the system, not the model. Okay, one more time because it's in bold. The moat in AI cybersecurity is the system, not the model. Interesting. Anthropic's own scaffold is described in their technical post. Launch a container, prompt the model to scan files, let it hypothesize and test, use as ASN as a code oracle. Sorry folks, I read a bit poorly and this is something I want to work on. So please stick with me. Anthropic's own scaffold is described as their technical post. Launch a container, prompt the model to scan files, let it hypothesize and test, use ASAN as a crash oracle, rank files by attack surface, run validation. That's very close to the kind of system we and others in the field have built, and we've demonstrated it with multiple models families, achieving our best results with models that are not anthropics. The value lies in targeting, the iterative deepening, the validation, the triage, the maintainer trust. The public evidence so far does not suggest that these workflows must be coupled to specific frontier to one specific frontier model. So basically, what they're saying is that Mythos may not be as special as people think. We can do this with other models that are lighter. Interesting. There's a practical consequence of jaggedness. Because the small, cheap, fast models are sufficient for much of the detection work. You don't need to judiciously deploy one expensive model and hope it looks in the right places. You can deploy cheap models broadly, scanning everything and compensate for lower per token intelligence with sheer coverage and lower cost per token. 1,000 adequate detectives searching everywhere will find more bugs than one brilliant detective who has to guess where to look. I don't know. What do you think, folks? 1,000 adequate searching, so that you can have just more models working versus one really smart one. The small models already provide sufficient uplift that, wrapped in the expert orchestration, they produce results that the ecosystem takes seriously. This changes the economics of the entire defensive pipeline. Anthropic is proving that the category is real. The open question is what it takes to make it work in production at scale with maintainer trust. What is maintainer trust? That is the problem we and others in the field are solving. What is maintainer trust in this? I need to get my boy ChatGPT. We can't go on a full stream without asking something to ChatGPT. Oh, looks cool on the screen like that. And I'll get back to the chats in a second. What does this? What does maintainer trust mean? What does maintainer trust mean? I'm pasting the whole article in there. Just feeding it to AI. Let's see. Jim the Dandy, you'll need one local computer that sends off prompts to the big boys. Cool, so we read everything. That's really cool. Good morning, Father. So what does it mean here? This article, Maintainer Trust, is a very specific practical meaning. It's not vague reputational metric. It is the end goal of a whole AI security pipeline. Wow, I didn't know about this. AI security pipeline means maintainer trust. Maintainer trust is equal to whether the people responsible for a code base accept and rely on your findings and fixes. One more time. Maintainer trust is equal to whether people responsible for a code base accept and rely on your findings and tricks. Okay, so it's basically the number of false positives that you get as a publisher, right? If you create an AI and it just stays in negative all the time, then salut, tu viens ou pas? Dans 5 minutes. And then my parents know that I finish at 8 a.m. and they're like showing up like, can we use our living room now? No. Maintainer trust, whether people responsible for code base accept and rely finding fixes. Yeah, because if you say a bunch of shit that's untested, then you're kind of useless as an AI model, right? They accept your vulnerability reports, not dismiss them and noise. They agree with your vulnerability analysis and they manage patches and fixes. Yay, we have a new follower. Roos AK said that joined us. Yay, wonderful, welcome. You got a really cool badge, I like it. This badge was burnt. Hello, What's up, Romans? Oh, hey, Romans viewers. Hey, guys. Romans, I noticed that you were on because I had my phone on for Twitch chat. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I could watch him. But yeah, again, no VOD. I wish I could watch him, and it just started the stream like, oh fuck. Well, you guys have some really cool icons, huh? Between Rouse AK and Data Dominatrix. Oh yeah, we've seen you before. This badge is that watched the Artemis 2 mission around the moon. Oh, that NASA logo is really cool. We out here, nice. Pond, nice. And I think you guys were doing Romans. You guys were doing we're hacking with Opus, no? What was your experience, guys? How's Opus? How's hacking with Opus? You'll need one local computer. Okay, nice. And he's got some medium boxes done. Oh, nice. Medium is good. Nice. Yeah, better. Oh, yeah, it's better. Nice, good to know. Romans, it seems like we finished streaming less at the same time. You also finish. I finish at 8 a.m. European time. I think you finished late US time. Once you know how to make skills and file. Ah, okay. So you need to make skills and make skill and files. So yeah, it requires a little bit more knowledge to hack with Opus. Out of the box is great too. Nice. Nice. Cool, folks. Well, thank you all for joining us. Today was a chill talking stream where we talked about the different opportunities and challenges that come with AI, specifically things like mythos and stuff like this. And we first looked at the release of Anthropic. We said, that's interesting. There's some really cool stuff. And apparently Mythos doesn't have to be that complex. We don't need a super large, expensive model. We could do this with many small models as well. So what they're talking about in the article is how and what we're just talking about just now is the idea that maintainer trust is pretty important. And maintainer trust is basically the concept where you have people, you like, as a maintainer, how much can you trust this system? Like, if it tells me something is wrong, what are the odds that it's actually wrong? And this is something that's very relevant for this. Cool, folks? Sounds cool? Nice. So we're reading this thing. So, but the thing is, there's so many interests, commercial interests from everyone in the cybersecurity world. Like we're talking, but maybe this is just my own paranoid thoughts, but I think everyone has there's so many commercial interests at stakes that it's kind of hard to see what is actually truth and not truth, right? Anthropic will likely do a initial public offering to get more funds and do different things with their money. And at the same time, to what extent does Al want to sell this idea that many small inspectors are just as good as one large one? I don't know, maybe it's my paranoid view on this thing, but I think there's just a lot going on right now, and we don't know everything that's been demonstrated. Like there's a lot of things we don't know about commercial interests, and we always have to be careful. But there's always so different visions of how cybersecurity is going. So, folks, Jim the Dandy, was fun stream. Catch you next time. Yeah, I think I'll end it here too. Jim the Dandy, thank you very much, and sorry for missing the chats. Honestly, if Twitch lets me have both chats at once, it will be a bit helpful. On screen, we'll see what we can do, and I definitely need to do something because here I just have Twitch. Which is unfortunate, but yeah, folks, we're gonna go too. Romans, thank you very much for rating us. It was lovely having your viewers. Data Dominatrix, good to have you back a little bit. Rouse AK, thank you very much for following us. If you folks want to stick around, see the journey, because we're your cyber doctor, and want a journey to a hack for 1,000 days, and we're like 15% in, so there's so much left to go. So if you wanna see if we get better at cybersecurity throughout the challenge, then please drop a follow, and we'll become cyber hacking experts. Data dominatrix, yay! So cool, guys. We'll end it here. Thank you very much for being with us. Let me see if there's anyone we can raid. C'est un moment. Ouais. C'était dur ce matin. Hein. Ouais. Bon, ça arrive. Combien de personnes? Là, on est 10. J'ai pas fini encore. Je vous entends parler là. Je suis pas sûr si quelqu'un comprend. Je parle vraiment français quand même. Alright, who are we rating, folks? Not sure if anyone understood us as we were speaking French. IRL, what do we hack? Let's see. Let's type cyber and see if there's anyone good that we can raid. Samantha, you said, is it you? Can you understand us in French? Are you waving goodbye? Rainbow Six Siege. Time for a fall rank. Nah, I think we'll just end it, folks. You folks are free to go wherever you want. Set yourself, be free. Maybe go to bed. PUBG Battlegrounds. No, that's not what we're into. Folks, we'll end it here. Minimal French. Nice. That's really cool. Folks, thanks a ton for being with me today, talking about Mythos, bringing in your very cool insights. We've had some very nice insights on consulting and stuff like this, so it's awesome. Awesome to get your all's perspective. And I'll see you folks on Monday. Please take care of yourselves and see you soon. Désolé, je ne parle pas français, Romance. Nice. So good. With all the accents and everything. And the C with the little dangling thing. Cool. Thank you guys. Please enjoy your weekend. Take care. And see you either Sunday evening